The suicide squeeze is one of the most difficult plays to defend, but this team found out a way to give up 2 runs. How to defend and pull off a double squeeze play coming up next. Coming up, we're going to take a look at one of the most amazing offensive trick plays that involves the double suicide squeeze. It gets pulled off perfectly by the University of Michigan in the College World Series. Youth players love to do the suicide squeeze, but coaches need to be careful. If the batter isn't on the same page, serious injuries can occur. However, when done right, it's one of the most difficult offensive moves to defend against. The suicide squeeze is used for one reason: give up an out for a run, and typically late in game with a close score. The runner on third starts to steal home once the pitcher commits to pitch, and the batter has to get the bunt down. Failing to get the bunt down, and you just give up an out and get nothing for it. Defending the squeeze is very difficult, especially if you don't see it coming. Typically, the only thing you can do is get the out at first. However, if the team suspects a squeeze, they can pitch out, which will leave the runner on third hanging and an easy out. Some teams suspecting this will use the safety squeeze instead. This is where the runner on third has to read the pitch and only go if the bunt is likely or laid down in the right spot. The defense can get the runner on third out or prevent him from scoring on a safety squeeze if the bunt is poorly executed. But on a suicide squeeze, they typically don't have a prayer, no matter how bad the bunt. Okay, one exception. A bunt in the air that is caught becomes a double play. A bases loaded squeeze isn't quite as popular because the force at home makes that out much easier, but it's still extremely difficult to stop. This team knew we were going to do the suicide squeeze, and all they needed to do was pitch out, but that didn't occur to them at the time. Lucky for them, because they got the double play instead. So what is a double squeeze play? It's so rare that it's next to impossible to find a video of it legitimately happening on the large field. Here's the closest thing I found before we get to the College World Series example. This is a runner on second doing the exact same thing, only there wasn't a runner on third at the time. So now we get to the College World Series example. This started with a sac bunt to move the runners into scoring position. You'll notice the score and inning. This isn't a typical suicide squeeze situation. But after the first pitch, the University of Michigan coach notices how the defense is playing and calls for the incredibly rare double suicide squeeze. And this happens.
Breaking ball, strike. Blomgren with runners at second and third. Squeezes on, drop down beautifully, runs across, second runner home, and he scores! How about that? 2 runs on a squeeze. Nelson never stopped.
Well, this is the old-fashioned double squeeze. I haven't seen this. Arizona loves to do this. Watch out. Look at the top of your screen. Look how far the lead is. You see the run. Right now, Creighton sleeping a little bit. Never stops going around third base. It's a called double squeeze. Terrific execution.
So how does the Creighton team stop this? It all comes down to the catcher. He sees the runner at second. He can see the play progress in front of him before it even begins, and he's the one who tells the pitcher where to throw. Had he been on top of things, the throw could have come home to get the second runner who was clearly coming home. But, like mentioned earlier, this is not a game situation where the catcher would expect this play. It's done well by the University of Michigan because the infield is playing in.
It's a called double squeeze. Terrific execution.